This is Sila-Viriya today. I'm addressing the two topics together, and the reason is because the two of them, in terms of the function that it does to your mind, actually is very similar. The purpose, their role in the spiritual practice is very similar. So we can talk about them together. They're not difficult. Today's talk is not difficult to understand, but it's difficult to practice. Very difficult to practice. Not difficult to understand. At the end of which you will consider yourself expert in morality, Buddhist morality. But when it comes to the real crunch, whether or not you can apply it in your daily life, that's where the challenge begins, okay? Now, first, some definition. Sila. You emphasize on the I, so it's Sila, okay? And Sila, translated quite accurately into English as morality. Now, what is morality? When we talk about morality philosophically, what do we mean? What we mean is the idea of what is right and what is wrong. Why is it right? Why is it wrong? What should we do? And what should we avoid doing? In the Buddhist context, Sila, we can pin it down to a core principle of doing good and avoiding actions that cause harm, pain, suffering to another. Essentially that. Basically, doing good and avoiding evil. Nasty things. So this is easy to understand, yeah? Afterwards, when we go into details, you will see easy to understand, difficult to practice. Virya. Virya is translated as energy. And so arises this mistaken notion that it is all about effort, having the will to do something. Not exactly. Buddha's definition of virya is very specific, and I'll go into it in a while. It's energy, yes, but it is energy for something. Energy to do something. And in Buddha's teaching, it is the energy, the drive, the effort to keep the mind pure. So in effect, it is about doing good and avoiding evil. Okay? This came from the Buddha. The Buddha said, the individual must generate the desire for the non-arising of unarisen, bad, unwholesome states, akusala states. And he makes an effort, arouses energy, applies his mind, and strive to achieve this, not letting something which is negative to arise. You look at the way it is said, you generate desire, you bring up in you a wish. It starts with that. I want to. Non-arising of unarisen akusala states. It hasn't come out. You make sure it doesn't come up. So in your mind, at a start point, you say, I make a wish to make sure my mind does not have something that's negative, it hasn't been there, don't let it come out. Down to that level of clarity, And then you make an effort, you arouse energy, you apply the mind, you strive. There are 4 different actions there. Buddha doesn't do thesaurus one, If he puts 4 words there, it means 4 things. It's not thesaurus. Meaning I make the same point 4 times using different words. It doesn't do that, okay? You make an effort is having in your mind a will. I want to do it. Then you go and stir up your energy. Sometimes we say, hey, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should. So, New Year, we make resolution. Birthday, you make resolution. Anniversary of something or other, you make resolution. So you say, I should do this. Maybe I should study hard. Huh? I should not scold people. Huh? So I should. This is, I want to. That's a desire. Then you say, okay, let's try doing it. So you make that effort. Okay, try not to do it, or try to do it. Then you have to stir yourself up a bit more, right? Get out of the couch. I should do it, I raise my hand. Then arouse energy, you get your back up, sit up. And then you tell your mind, I am going to do this. And you work hard at it, strive. And this is only about stopping something not there. Okay? Let's go on to something that is there. You generate desire for abandoning. So something, your mind is already negative. You have to generate a desire. You want to let it go. Your mind has negative, unwholesome, unskillful mental states. The Buddha used the word states. States may not be action, it is just there. You have anger in you. You haven't scolded yet, but the anger is there. So you generate, you want to, you stir up energy, you make an effort to tell your mind, I'm going to let this go. And the fact that he used four verbs there tell you how difficult it is. Negative states are not easy to overcome. How many of you would say, no lah, very easy lah? Huh? Who dare say it? How many of you say that it's actually so difficult? For you, all very easy. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 is drop of a hat, like that. 10 is harder than building the Great Wall of China. Okay? Where would you place this effort to break negativities? 5? 4? 3? Or 6? You all don't know. It all depends on your mood for the day. I guess it does. It does depend on mood. Better mood, easier to do. Mood not so good, very difficult to do. Okay. Generate desire means just stirring it up, wanting to do it, and then the rest continues. Make the effort, apply the energy, and so on and so forth. This is all for negative states. You look at the positive ones. Generate desire for the arising of unarisen wholesome states, and finally, for the persistence of a reason wholesome state. If you look into your mind and you see that it has nothing, it's neutral, it's on the neutral gear. Nothing positive, nothing negative. So there is no wholesome state there. Bring it up. You must want to bring it up. And the last one is, it's there. But can it stay there? You have metta. For once in your life, there is metta in your heart. Can your metta be sustained? Not easy, lah. Okay? So, what this implies, Virya means having the energy, making the effort, trying hard to keep the mind pure. It is the same as Sila, not very different. Okay? So therefore, very similar. It is about effort to tame negative, unskillful, unwholesome mental instincts and impulses, and to cultivate and bring forth the positive, skillful, wholesome mental states. Incidentally, the word kusala and akusala. Kusala, it has been translated in English as wholesome, and akusala as unwholesome. But I actually prefer the other explanation for kusala, which is skillful. And akusala is unskillful. I prefer that one. Reason is this. You just think about it. To give in to your instinct. Is that easy? You're angry, just scold, lor. very easy ma. Doesn't take a lot of skill, right? But when you get upset and you hold it back, hold it, don't say a word, don't let it out. And watch the mind until it let go, until it moves off. Takes skill, right? Way more skill. So, in Buddhism, the word kusala is skillful. Far better word. Wholesome, unwholesome is just describing a state. But the other one tells you what has to be done. Okay? Now, then when do we use Sila and when do we use Virya? It depends on the practitioner and what level of practice we're talking about. In normal day practice, day to day, we usually use the word Sila. But if you were to elevate it into a state where you're trying to watch the mind and making sure, watching the mind, making sure that the mind is clean and pure, that's Virya, because you're exercising effort to achieve that. That's Virya, okay? Now I'm going to talk about Sila. Straightforward, but the point that I want to point out, the point I want to make is this. When we do something, when we perform an action, you need to make a distinction between the actual action itself and the motivations behind the action. Sometimes your motivation is not a negative one, but the results can be disastrous. Sometimes your motivation is a positive one, and yet bad things happen. And vice versa. You can have a negative intent, and then the outcome wasn't so bad. You actually want to cause trouble to people, so you're motivated by anger. But then he got forgiven. No thanks to you. So, in Buddhism, we are not interested in the results per se. We're interested in your motivation. What is in your mind when you make a choice to do something. Okay? And Buddha said the very basic motivations of human being, basic motivations, meaning in all of us here, you don't tell me you don't have. If you human, you would have. Okay? Any non-human here? The fact that we are all human, part of the humanity race, we will have. And these are our basic instincts. In Pali, the Pali words are beautiful. Lobha, dosa, moha. Okay? Lobha means I want it. I want something. It's the one thing. You use it, greed, okay, that's good enough. But the idea of this particular motivation, lobha, is wanting it, pulling something towards you. And a lot of us are driven by this. Sometimes you think that, I don't have lobha one, I don't have. Maybe you don't have, but I doubt lah. Lobha is not just about possession. It is a state of mind that wants things. How many of you would happily, cheerfully tell me, people scold me, I don't care? How many? Oh, honest. People say you nice, you care or not? People say, you're so pretty today, nice. Oh, you lose weight. Just like that, make people happy. Lobha is also that. The desire for praise. The desire for something, whatever desire it is, whether it's tangible or intangible, it is a form of lobha. I give you one more, okay? Sure have one. You like to spend time with people you like, right? Don't you? You do, right? That's lobha. You see that? I want to spend time with someone I like. If you want to spend time with someone you don't like, I say good practitioner, man. And the odds are you're not going to have that. Okay? So lobha is for tangible and intangible. Dosa is the diametrical opposite. you get upset. The energy that arises in the mind is pushing away. So lobha is drawing towards you, dosa is pushing it away. That's all. So it's been translated as anger and hatred. But the idea here is you are pushing it away. I don't want it. I don't want it to come near me. That's dosa. Okay? And therefore, all these are in different degrees. You can have a very mild form, very good practitioner, right? Very mild form of lobha, very mild. So all you have is preference. Very mild, huh? Or you can have it very intense. I desire. I love. Lagi more intense, I lust. Very intense really, ma. You see what I'm saying? It's the entire spectrum of wanting something. And the other one can be mildly annoyed, and myth, very mild. Or it can be I hate intensely. I swear revenge. Anger to that degree. So the spectrum. Moha is the one that is it's very difficult to explain. It's translated as delusion, sometimes foolishness, sometimes ignorance. But the idea is this. What are you deluded about? What is this delusion that they talk about? It is about not knowing the nature of the mind. Absolute nature of the mind. It is believing in certain principles, and you hold those principles to be true. For instance, the principle that says being happy means getting the things you want. You believe in that kind of logic. You believe in permanence. You believe in immediate gratification. Why wait? This kind of beliefs. I used to give this example, and I think it helps to explain a little bit. It's just an idea here, okay? Now, show of hand, How many of you, if you have your life to live all over again, you will study harder? Well, you're all PhD holder. How many of you would say that if I have my life to live all over again, I'll work harder? No, nobody. All work less. Work harder work harder. You're shy, I understand you're shy, but you work harder. Okay, now I ask you this. Why? Why you want to work harder? Because you start to understand that actually there is a correlation between education and career. Yes? But you only have this understanding when you are older. When they are older, they will have this understanding. When they're young, they don't have this understanding. Okay? Agree? Hello, feedback. No. This is not a rhetorical question. I need you to understand this. Today, you understand the correlation between having good education and a good career. But when you were younger, you never had that understanding. Your parents could be grumbling at you until the cow comes home, then went to work the next day, you still don't understand and you don't get it, you don't care. Then you only study because your parents are there watching over you. Okay? Today you do. So what you have is, once upon a time you had moha with regards to that correlation. Today you have no more moha with regards to the correlation between a career and education. So moha is like wisdom, it's like knowledge, it's a realization, it is a knowing, but a knowing with wisdom. That's moha. A lot of us, in fact all of us, most of us, as we go through our life proclaiming to be Buddhists, we actually still have moha. We have moha about the reality of the mind, the correlation between dukkha and craving and letting go and relief. We have that moha. If we have no more moha, if we don't have moha, then we wouldn't be in dukkha, We should be in bliss. No need to depend on drugs and marijuana. Obviously, I don't take that. But the point is, if you have no moha, you wouldn't be experiencing dukkha. As long as there is the sensation of dukkha, you have moha. And the more your moha, the more your dukkha, if you like. Okay? Now, let's look at do no evil. So I'm going to explain a little about do no evil and do good. No killing. All of you know the 5 precepts, yes? They are very basic. If you don't know the 5 precepts, or you know but you don't really care, we have a problem, okay? The most basic of the moral restraint, the very first one is no killing. And there are 5 conditions for you to qualify as a killer. Number 1, the being is alive. Number 2, you want the being to die. You want it. Therefore, there is motivation, intent. Number 3, you did something. Number 4, you did something to kill it. Number 4, being dies. Sorry, I missed out 1. Number 1, it's alive. Number 2, you know it is alive. So you have conscious, you have a brain, and the brain knows that it's alive. So if you are gila, mad, and you have no sense of the being alive, you just go around, you think you're stabbing the pillow, but actually you're stabbing somebody, right? That's not killing. The mind is not. Your mind has to know that the being is alive. Number 3, you went to do something. You want it dead. Number 4, you did something. And number 5, it died as a result of you stabbing or killing it. Okay? Suppose, let's say, hypothetically, you want to kill something. Then you chase after it. Then it tripped, it fell, it broke its neck, it died. Well, lucky for you, you didn't quite qualify under Panatipata. Okay? Actually, you actually didn't kill it. You may have thoughts about killing it, but lucky for you, it fell and broke its neck. So all you have is sway. The thing is sway. Okay? Now, as a Buddhist, we seek to respect life. So the very, very bare minimum, I call it rock bottom, is when you say, I don't take the life. This is rock bottom, bare minimum. At the next level is when you give life. You respect, you honor, you uphold another person's right to life. Okay? That's the next level. In Pali, the word is adinnadana. Okay? Pali word, adinnadana. In English, we happily translated it as stealing. Our stealing rule is actually a bit low. Buddhism, something not given to you, something that's not given to you, you don't take. Something not given to you, you don't take. That means office stationery, you don't take. And it also means that $2 note, okay, $50 note on the floor, you don't take. It's given to you, is it? It's actually quite strict. The question is why? Why is it so strict? You don't steal 15 minutes from your coupon. You don't steal 15 minutes from your coupon. What the Singapore government gave you 15 minutes, is it? Spare time. You don't. You don't take what was not given. Why is it so strict? Why is Buddhism so strict? Because no police is going to chase you for, you stole 15 minutes from the government. Oh yeah, they fine you lah. It's still 15 minutes, they'll fine you. But why are we so strict? And the reason is because in our practice, we are trying to stop ourselves from having loba. Remember? This craving, we're trying to neutralize this habit. We try to neutralize this habit. Here you want to neutralize the habit, there you're taking opportunity to take a little bit. You see how it doesn't gel with it? So the stricter you are, the more conscious you are about not taking. Okay? No sexual misconduct. Sorry, as the no taking one, I just put the higher bar. The lowest bar is no stealing. The next bar, which is what we have here, is don't take what's not given to you. Higher than that is giving. The correlation to this at a higher level, as a practitioner, you not just don't take, you give. Generosity, open-hearted giving. I will talk about giving later in a bit more details, okay? No sexual misconduct. The key point here is not to impose oneself on another. So Buddha, in explaining this a little bit more, make the point that you do not force yourself on someone younger, so young kids, underage or out. You do not go with somebody who is promised to another. So this thing about promise to another, not even married yet. Married, sure, no go. But promise really cannot. Okay? Cannot touch. Underage. When someone has no intellect, so they don't know to turn you down, you also cannot touch. Take advantage of people with lower intellect, not allowed. What's the last one? So, too young, and no forcing yourself. If someone is not willing, you cannot force yourself. Any of this would count under sexual misconduct, okay? And which means that you must, if you had promised yourself to another, you take your marital vows seriously, okay? No untruths. Over here, very clear, you know what is truth, you know, usually you know, and you intend for someone to be misled. Deliberately, you know it's truth, you want someone to be misled, you undertake action so that the person is misled, and the person is misled. Kena pian. Okay? Then it counts under musawada. So no such thing, you come along, you tell me got white lies, black lies, brown lies, purple ones. They are all lies, not truth. As long as you know it to be untrue, you know it, and you want someone else to be misled, pakai already. Counted. Get it? Okay. And the last one is intoxicants, okay? This one is unique to Buddhism. In fact, in the time of the Buddha, for a long time, they only had these 4 precepts. The 5th one came about much later. The result of someone who got drunk, misbehaved, did something wrong, his practices all went down the drain. So this one was introduced. The idea here, so don't be so rigid. The idea here is you know for yourself, intoxicants can cause your mind to go fuzzy. If you are trying to do the right thing, you avoid having a mind this fuzzy. That's what it means. You avoid doing something that causes the mind to be fuzzy. That's all. So some of you will say, my threshold, what do you call that? Alcoholic threshold? Your drink threshold is this high. So if I drink like this, it's okay, whatever lah. As long as you know your mind is not fuzzy, you know. But some of us, you take like that already. You take this amount and you are in, I don't know, heaven. Then for you, unique to you, you can't take this amount. You can almost take this amount. 1 drop. Okay? Beyond that, beyond these 5 precepts, if you are now very inspired, you're all inspired to do more, right? Clearly, you are inspired. I can see all the inspiration now. Then you have to go beyond just the gross. The gross one are the killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying. Okay, those are gross. Instead, you are going to avoid these akusala kamma, even more restraints. Okay, and this would include three more under speech, 3 more for the mind. The earlier ones, no killing, no stealing, sexual misconduct, they are the action ones. Okay? You see this one? Harsh speech, parusa vacha. Meaning to say, if you open your mouth in anger, I will put the word sarcasm under this. If you open your mouth motivated by negativities, you break this one. You have committed it already. Sometimes you say, must scold. Don't scold, the fella doesn't learn. Okay, never mind, harsh speech. Do whatever you want, say whatever you want. The moment it comes out motivated by anger, harsh speech. Okay? Pisuna vacha, slander. This is to try and destroy somebody's reputation through deliberate speech, deliberate action on your part. You deliberately want people, the world, to believe badly of somebody. So you go around and you talk, and you don't necessarily talk with harsh speech. In fact, the odds are you talk with nice speech, except that it falls under slander because your motivation is negative. You may be motivated by loba. Okay, today we practice Pali, okay? You may be motivated by loba, or you could be motivated by dosa. Well done. 3 stars here, no star here. Dosa, okay? Why is it loba? Because you want gains. You want to look good. So he looks bad, you look good. Why is it dosa? I hate him. How many of you had done slandering to someone you love? Odds are no lah. Okay, sorry. Of course you all don't slander. How rude of me to assume. Okay? So, slandering. Okay, next. I have mentioned this before. In fact, in this very class, I've mentioned this before. Pali word sampapalapa, English frivolous talks. Unfortunately, everything other than Dhamma falls into this category. So the moment you step through those doors, no more, how are you, whether good or not, whether not good, no more, okay? Everyone who walks through the door, how's your practice today? Did you see mindfulness? Are we all Virya, having Virya? It must be like that, you remember that? Tea break afterwards, it will be very quiet. When suddenly everybody went downstairs to talk. Frivolous talk. Why so difficult? Why Buddha so difficult? Cannot talk about weather? Weather where got wrong, huh? What's wrong with weather? You see, our mind is typically very shaky. It bounces all over the place. Our mind does that. If you were to introduce any subject to your mind, the mind will dance with it. It will run all over with it. And straight away you have a problem. So if you are trying to practice, these are all you are learning to practice. Otherwise, you just stick with 5 precepts. But if you're trying to practice, then you start to observe how your mind dances around with all the smallest thing. Cooking recipe, the mind will dance. Yeah? Drinking water, the mind will dance. Then you go on. Even more subtle negativities. This one pertains to the mind. The instinct of the mind to want something. To want something. And not just want it. If I want something and I couldn't get it, and someone else has it, I covet it. Coveting it. It is that subtle. And this one, you need to look into your mind very carefully. It can be something as subtle as, I ordered, okay, 5 of us go for dinner. I ordered something, you ordered something. Then I look at my plate, I look at your plate. Your plate is more interesting than my plate. There arises covetousness already. It's that subtle. You have to get down to the level of seeing the mind so clearly. Wow, you're so no standard, just anger you see, or craving you see. It's that subtle, it's very, very subtle, okay? Now, why is this ill will? This is not anger, huh? This is ill will. What's the difference? Anger is when your ears blow. You know, cartoon, the ears, right? You are upset. You want to take things and throw. Take things and throw, okay? That's anger. Ill will is very subtle. So this is all about subtlety. Sometimes you didn't say anything. And the world looking at you thought you're so sweet. You're still smiling, but inside there is water boiling. But very subtle. No, okay, maybe no pee yet, 60 degree only boiling. Just boiling over there. Yeah? You have, you know your own mind. Oh, of course, I'm not talking about you. You know the other person's mind, right? So you know he's like there. Just nobody knows only. You think he smile at you. Inside there, very angry. So that's ill will. And the very last one, holding on to wrong views. This is the mother of all subtlety. Why is this a problem? You see, everything starts with the right view. You want to practice, you start off by understanding the correlation amongst the Four Noble Truths. It has to start there. If you start with the belief that it's okay, I give myself discount, my practice can start next life. You know, these are all the wrong views. I can't do it this life, next life then start. Yeah, but it all depends on what you are next life, what? Cow can't start? You see what I'm saying? So you have all kinds of very subtle wrong views. It can be as subtle as, no, I believe in the Buddha most time. Or I believe in the Buddha, then the next minute you turn and you scold somebody. You believe in Buddha means you believe in karma. You believe in karma, you scold people for what? You see what I'm saying? That's all these subtle things we don't get it, okay? So those are your do no evil, okay? Doing good means the motivation. It's always about motivation. It's not about action per se. It's about the motivations. The Buddha used an opposite word, alobha, adosa, amoha. He didn't use the positive one, meaning for instance, he didn't use dana, or he didn't use metta in place of adosa. He used the opposite one. Why? Basic. These are all basic, fundamental core words. Do you have anger or not? Do you have craving, wanting, the wanting? If you don't have this wanting, if it is not that wanting, then it is no wanting. You see what I'm saying? If you are motivated by either something present or something which is essentially absent. You look at your own mind, okay? I want you all to just look inwards as I explain this. If you do something and the greed is there, you know it, right? Would you know it? If the greed is there and you do something, you know it. If that greed factor is not there, would you know it? You should. You should. If you're a practitioner, you should know it. That's good enough. That's the point. When you perform an action and there isn't that greed there, that action is pure. If you do something and there isn't an anger there, the action is, there's no anger, there is no greed. There is one more element. This is the third. You push it further. Buddha set a low standard already. If you were to push it further, then you can have generosity. You do something, but what is there is not just no greed, but filled with a sense of generosity. That's one level further. You see that? Do you understand that? This is not the same, and you have to see subtly the difference. I repeat, it can be that you are motivated by greed. It may well be that the greed is not there. So, loba, the greed is not there, but you want to do it. I'll give you an example. Someone you know is very powerful. He has an ability to influence promotions. Motivated by greed, you wanting to promote yourself, get yourself promoted ahead. Motivated by that desire, you sit next to him and you chit-chat with him, okay? And he's down, so you took the opportunity to comfort him, talk to him. You raise yourself in his eyes. But what's in you? It's greed, okay? The action seems to be a positive one, but your motivation is a negative one. That's what matters. Suppose, let's say, same situation, he's down, he needs to talk, you sit there, there is no greed in you. You're not thinking of yourself at all. You just sat there, and then you look at him, he's down, you felt sorry, so you talk to him, and you keep him company. Is greed there? It is not there. You know it. No one else does. So you do it. You're doing it with no motivation as such. Or at least motivated not by greed, it's just a desire to comfort perhaps. Or it may well be that you are filled with a sense of giving, filled with a sense of compassion. Those are even stronger motivations. And then you sit and you comfort and you talk and basically just keep him company. So in the third case, as opposed to the second case, your motivations are a little bit different. So Buddha actually starts with a relatively low scale. He asks you not to be motivated by greed, by anger, and by delusion, that's all. But of course, you can go into very strong positive actions. Dasa punya kiryawatu, doing meritorious action. And the very first one is dana, giving. Dana, you have, just to bear in mind, there are tangible danas and there are intangible danas. Tangible danas, tangible generosity, will be giving something such as money, gifts, requisites, something you hold and it's absolute. It's tangible. But there's intangible ones. Intangible ones would be like your time. Sorry, the tangible ones are your organ. Dead or alive. Blood. You should all donate blood, okay? The intangible ones are things like time. And time, for most of us, unfortunately, is a zero-sum game, since we only have 24 hours and we need some time to sleep. So because time is, for Singaporeans especially, time is such a absolute zero-sum game, the odds are it's easier for you all to give something tangible than to give something like time. How many of you regularly, meaning once a week, regularly give donation, money? Never do more. Most of us actually would say, Vesak Day, we all go and donate, yes? Vesak Day also never donate. Most of us would do something on Vesak Day, okay? How many of you would say you had volunteered over the last month? And suddenly the number of hands would drop. Because volunteering takes time. Giving money, got plenty. Or sort of, doesn't matter. I got call, I give kat lah. So it's just like that, okay? The idea of generosity, please, bear this in mind. The idea of generosity is your heart must be open. The joy of giving has to be there. If you give already because they give, I must give, then they give happily, I give not so happy, your dana is as good as don't have. it must affect the mind. It must sit nice on the mind. All these actions, the negative, positive, all of them must sit with the mind. So when you give dana, the heart has to be open. There must be the joy that arises. So even if you give very little, it's not how much you give. It's how well you give. How much you give is boiled down to dollars and cents. How well you give is the degree of joy for yourself and for the other person. Okay? Now, Sila. Sila, I am talking about Sila. The idea about Sila, the only thing I want you to bear in mind is restraining your negative instincts. We have a lot of negative instincts. It comes out very spontaneously. We have to learn to keep them under control. So any motivations by greed, by anger, by delusion, keep it under control. Learn to let go. Okay? Next one is bhavana, meditation. The idea here is spend a bit of time, just a bit of time, that's all you can afford. 24 hours, very busy, yeah? So you can only afford 10 minutes. Fine. We'll take 10 minutes to sit and watch the mind quietly. Rest the mind quietly. Rest it means that 10 minutes, if you only have 10 minutes, I strongly recommend more. But then who am I to impose, right? So I don't impose lah. If you were to ask me, I would say half an hour to an hour. But then you're not asking me, so I am just saying 10 minutes, okay? 10 minutes of sitting means you do nothing. No iPad, no iPhone, no Samsung, no anything. Okay, you do nothing, you just sit quietly and you tell yourself for the next X minutes, you are not going to do anything, you're just going to sit there with your breathing. Your breath, your breathing, whatever that you use as an object of meditation, you just sit quietly and sit with that for a while, okay? The next two, I shall talk about them together. This one, showing respect, and this one, doing service. I like this in wholesome deeds. If you do service, helping someone stab somebody, not so good, huh? It must be doing service for the right reason. Okay, I put the two together because in terms of practice, this is about taming your ego. For you to be able to stand up and take a bow or stand up to somebody out of respect, your ego, you are saying, is smaller, must put aside. I'm lesser than you. Now, very often you will find the translation like this, showing respect, and then they added the words, to someone worthy. And then the other one is doing service to someone worthy. They usually put it like this. Actually, the Pali words don't have to someone worthy. The Pali words, right? Apachayana has no to someone worthy. It's just like that, okay? Then why do we add in the word to someone worthy? Because it is easier to do it to someone worthy. If I ask you to stand up to any Tom, Dick, or Harry that comes through the door, the odds are you are going to, Mas me, why? Why do I have to stand up to everybody? Our ego will come in and say, no, cannot. But if I were to say everyone that comes in is an Arya, say, the odds are everybody will happily stand. Someone worthy, ma? So the idea here is putting aside your ego. Put it aside. Show respect, not difficult. Show greeting, not difficult. Doing service. Now, you may think that, this is about going to old folks' home, going to homes and volunteering service, build schools for the children in don't know where, don't know what. Not just that. Those are worthy, for sure. Those makes you feel very good, definitely. Not just that. You are sitting around a table, your food is done. Can you keep your plate and their plate? Taking the plates for everyone is a form of service. You are actually putting aside your own ego and be helpful to everyone. This is being helpful. It's a form of giving. Okay? These two I'm doing again together. One is performing the function, the rituals of transferring merits. But it is not just pour water that transferring merits. It's also in your mind. In your mind, when you had done something positive and you want to share with beings, you just in your mind say, I don't need all these merits for myself, I'm sharing it. It's allowing the mind to share. And this one is when someone else is doing something positive, you are happy for him. This is building mudita. I will explain mudita in the next slide. This is helping mudita. This is karuna, compassion. See the difference? Both of which has to do with respect for beings that can't do things for themselves. It's actually respect beings who no longer can do things for themselves, so you do something for them. Okay? You know, we like to look at this word and think of it as doing merits, transferring it to the deceased, right? Actually, sometimes it's not so straightforward. I'm just thinking aloud and sharing my thoughts here. Suppose, let's say you do a lot of work for a school. You do a lot of work for a school. A lot. The school respects you and treats you special. You know somebody wants the child to get into the school. So you go to the school for a favor, but you know it's a one-off favor. Eng liao bo liao, passport eng liao no more. Okay? Will you do it? Because you could keep it for yourself, you keep it for your kid, but now you're going to transfer it to someone else. This is doing a favor and then passing it on. The idea, it's not just about the dead, it's about doing things for people. It's doing things for people and then getting nothing in return and passing on what you have accumulated to another. Someone can use it. It's a lot of giving here, you know. Transfer merits to the dead is easy. Why is it easy? I can't see, ma. Can you see? Do you have a merit account where you can see the points? If you have a merit account, you die. Surely you will be counting your points well. But you don't have a merits account. So transferring merits for you is very cheap. But in real life, calling in favors, transferring it to another, those are not cheap. Those come at a cost. Will you do it? Will you do it? It is giving. It's a form of giving. Okay? And then when someone else does it, you're happy for them. Okay, last three. Listening to Dhamma talk, sharing Dhamma, straightening out one's view. Ditthijukkamma, last one. All of them pertaining to Dhamma understanding. And the assumption here is sharing the right Dhamma, hearing the right Dhamma, and straightening out your view. Buddha wants you, and I've said this before last week, Buddha wants you to think, to exercise judgment, to reflect, to be an intelligent thinking Buddhist. So therefore, you need to ask questions. Therefore, at 4 today, there will be plenty of questions. 2 aspects. Just now, what I presented was what I would call a lower bar. This is a higher bar, okay? These are states of mind. And these states of mind are possible only if your practice is good or somewhat good. Otherwise, they are what I call the stock market. It fluctuates, up and down, okay? One day got metta, next minute no more metta. Your metta lasts for a grand total of 3 minutes. Very good already, yesterday only 2 minutes. Okay, what are these? Metta, okay, I use the traditional translation, but the more correct one is actually friendliness. Metta actually just means friendliness. I know I've gone through this, so today I'll go through very quickly. Compassion, altruistic joy, and equanimity. The 4 of them are not mutually exclusive. First and foremost, Understand that they are not mutually exclusive. Meaning to say that you have karuna, compassion, doesn't mean you cannot be equanimous. In fact, if you have this one missing, if you have upekkha, equanimity missing, and all you have is this, and this, then you could end up being very trapped, very caught up, very affected by your feelings. People cry, you cry. People die, you cry. People didn't die also you cry. Because you are unable to maintain a certain degree of distance. But you see, if you have upekkha, you tell me I have upekkha and I practice it very solid, I've got upekkha, okay. So you have upekkha, you got none of the above. Then what are you? Digimon. Digital man. Because you're already bochap. Everything you're indifference. What? Do lor. What, cannot walk? Walk lah. What's your problem? So you're going to be very distant. You see that? So these four must be cultivated together, such that you can have all the gentle and kind and quiet and giving quality without being a sobbing mess. Half the time crying, because a lot of dukkha in the world, ma. And vice versa, okay? Now, why are we cultivating Sila? Talk so much, now we have to understand the logic of what we are doing. At the very minimum, Buddha said so. So you can have a situation, and we do, right? For the longest time, many of you happily proclaiming yourself to be 5 preceptors. And then on Chewy Japgo, right? Full moon, new moon, 8 preceptors. Tonight cannot sleep on the bed because I'm an 8 preceptors. And then, what happened? Buddha says so we must do. No understanding, just doing. Good enough if that's all that you want, but that's not good enough if you're a practitioner, okay? Some do it because of this. Yes? For those of you who believe in karma, in fact, some of us, I was asked this question, do I believe in a particular set of, like a manual? You do this, you get this, you do this, you get that, you do this. No, it doesn't work like that. But the fear of karma is a very powerful motivator. For many of us, we avoid killing only because we don't want to end up like an ant. You kill all the ants, next time become ants. How? Okay, whatever. 最高境界, okay? At a higher level of understanding, it's about having a free conscience and peace of mind. At a higher level, it's about being happy. Ultimately, it's about the spiritual practice. Preparing the mind to be able to meditate. Without meditation, not possible to see Nibbana. Okay? Why do I make this claim, this one, is because of this sutta. There was a conversation between Buddha and Ananda. And Ananda asked the Buddha, what is the purpose and the benefit of Sila? Sila, okay? And the reply, the purpose and benefit is non-regret. Conscience-free. First step. Ananda asked, what is the purpose of non-regret? Because we are teaching Pali, the word is there. Okay? Buddha replied, the benefit of non-regret is you are happy. You have pamut jatto, gladness. Ananda asked, what's the purpose of having piti, the joy? And the Buddha replied, so that you have tranquility. And then what's the purpose of tranquility? So that you have sukha, happiness, pleasure. What is the Purpose of that. You see, all these three refers to a state of mind that is light, delighted. A delighted mind is a happy, delighted, soft mind. The mind is soft. It's open. Light, soft, open. This is where they talk about malleable. It can be molded. I will stop here and ask you this. You think about this. Huh? I know you're all waiting for the rest. Don't give you. No. I ask you this. You all had gone through childhood to adulthood, right? Just put your mind through those years, okay? The point when people were trying to teach you something and you resented it. You resented it. You don't want to learn. Teacher, I don't like. I don't want to learn from this teacher. Do you have that? Ah, yes, I know you have. Don't have to put up arms, huh? No need. Don't have to put up hands. Okay, you have all these periods, right? Do you find your mind very difficult, very hard? Can't really learn? The teacher you don't like, you're not going to learn anything from her or him. But the moment it is someone you like, you try your best. And somehow you can hear the person, right? It's normal. You are not abnormal. This is the way the mind works. So what did the Buddha just taught us to do? He said, you get the heart to be quiet with no regret. The heart has no regret. It is able to be happy. If it can be happy, it goes through the stages of delight. It gets softer and softer. All these are very soft. Softer, softer. And then you can concentrate. What is the purpose of concentration? So that you can see your mind as it is. Yatha Buddha Jnana Dasana. Very important word. This is the beginning of wisdom. You have concentration, and it is possible for the mind to see the mind. See how the mind works. Yatha Buddha. As it is. As they are. Jnana, knowledge, dasana, seeing, insight. So to see and to understand things as they really are. You cannot do concentration, you can't get to this state. Okay? And when you can see things as they are, the mind knows how to turn and then let go. Let go. It can turn and it can let go. And finally, once that happens, once the mind knows how to turn away from the object and let go of the object, the mind can taste, see and taste freedom. Vimutti, freedom, liberation, the joy of freedom. And jnana dasana, same thing. See the word? Jnana dasana, jnana dasana. Jnana dasana is an extremely important word because it tells you realization is through knowledge and understanding. You must see and you know what you are seeing. Have to be seen, have to be understood, and you know what you are seeing. You can't see, you won't understand. If you say, I understand, but you've never seen a thing, your understanding is distorted, not pure, not correct, incomplete. Okay? This came from Anguttara Nikaya. He even gave you the page number. This is from Bhikkhu Bodhi's work, Anguttara Nikaya. Okay?